All right, welcome back. We continue tonight. Andrew Fillipponi joins me here. We hope you do too at 412-575-2600. All right, Andrew, made for TV golf. We've seen 4 of these matches. This is the 4th one tonight. We had the defending champs, Tom Brady against Phil Mickelson against Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers. Last year, you might remember, Tom Brady ripped his pants and also had a hole-in-one, or at least a chip-in eagle, whatever he did. Those guys won. Do you like this format? There's awfully, you're looking at personality-driven stuff. These guys are all mic'd up. They bring in guests. Do you think it's good, or do you think it's too long for how it's worth?
Well, I like the fact that they get after Aaron Rodgers and try to get to the bottom of what's going on in Green Bay.
Well, he wasn't going to say anything. There was no way, even with Barkley. I mean, they're trying. They're not going to get an answer.
Well, I thought Brady did a good job in that mock Jeopardy thing that they did to promote this, where he said, who is Aaron Rodgers, a guy that's unhappy and ticked off at his boss? And Rodgers isn't going to get in Tom Brady's face because respects a guy that's won 7 titles and is the greatest quarterback in NFL history. But my big takeaway from what happened there is, what is Aaron Rodgers doing, Bob? He talks about mental health. Now he's off playing golf. Won't say that he's going to show up in time for training camp. Is there a chance that the Steelers, who play the Broncos, who are the team that is looked at as the Aaron Rodgers suitor, and then the Packers the following week, is there a chance the Steelers miss Aaron Rodgers in both games?
Yes.
And they get a Denver team that's led by Drew Lock and a Packers team that's quarterbacked by Jordan Love. And if that happens, Bob, that might turn at least one loss into a win. And with how congested the wild card picture might be at the end of the year, it's conceivable that that's the difference between the Steelers missing the playoffs and making it. Aaron Rodgers' fate. I know that might seem out of sight, out of mind for Steelers fans, but I don't think it's crazy to connect the dots there and think that Aaron Rodgers' decision and the timing of his decision might actually have a big bearing on whether or not the Steelers can make the playoffs or not.
Yeah, I think the Steelers in a position where they got to take advantage of their schedule early on. They have a lot of games at home, a lot of games they should win. And if they do that, then avoid what's happened the last 3 years, I think they can. I'm more bullish on this team than a lot of people. And, of course, it comes down to offensive line and how they execute as a group. But quite frankly,
but
Andrew,
if Aaron Rodgers is quarterbacking if Aaron Rodgers is at quarterback for the Packers in the games at Lambeau, Green Bay's favored in that game.
No question.
If it's Jordan Love, I'm not sure. It turns into a coin flip.
I honestly don't think it's going to get that deep into the season. I really don't. I think something.
I think it is. I think it is.
I don't.
I think it definitely is. Well, why not, Bob? Give me your theory. Give me your thinking on it.
Listen, he's an older quarterback who has got to figure it out and put his ego aside, although that might be hard to do for him. But he's got to figure it out at some point, and so do they. So I think you'll see a resolution to this before the start of the season. It may linger into training camp, but I think you will see some sort of. But my point was, if you are the Steelers, you got to hope this line. And listen, the guys who were here last year were not all that good. They had older guys, some of them breaking down, and they've made changes. Can they come together as a group? That's hard to do for young players, but who knows if they do, and if they supply some sort of run game, I think they could be a better team than what most people think. We'll see. A long way to go. Pete in Squirrel Hills, our first caller tonight. What's up, Pete?
Hey, Pete.
Guys, what's going on? How are you?
We're good.
Hey, I don't think Aaron Rodgers really cares, Bob. He has a diploma from Cal Berkeley, which has given the world 80 Nobel Prize winners. That's 9 times as many as Ron Cook's alma mater. But I got a baseball question for you. They're the same age. If you can take those black and gold tinted glasses off and answer as an honest sports journalist, who would you rather have playing third base for the next eight years in your organization? Key Brian Hayes or Rafael Devers?
Devers.
Thank you very much.
How about you, Andrew?
Well, because Devers is an all-star already, and he's a known commodity offensively.
He's young.
And we don't know. I mean, Hayes is a wizard with his glove and is a great fielder, but is the hitting going to be something that is sustainable over time?
Well, it's good to see he got his swing back tonight, and he did last night as well. I mean, he works his way through this, and they're going to be slumped, so that's encouraging to see.
Let me address what Pete said there about Aaron Rodgers. I think he absolutely cares. And I think he's made so much money that it's a pride thing for him that he does not like the way that he had to, after Jordan Love got drafted, come back, have an MVP year, and the Packers are still, not giving him any assurances that he's going to be their quarterback beyond the length of this contract. And I think that's what really ticked him off, that he has this great year. They're still not committing to him. I would not be surprised. You think it's going to get resolved. Keep this in mind, Bob. He's got the same agent, the same guy that represented Carson Palmer represents Aaron Rodgers. And what did Palmer do? He said, I don't want to play for Mike Brown and the Bengals anymore. And he sat out and he played chicken with the Bengals until they traded him to the Raiders for a first-round pick. And I would not be surprised if the agent talked to Aaron Rodgers and they came up with a similar game plan for this season.
Well, I'll say this. Teams have things to do. Sometimes the player's not going to agree with things they do, draft picks, whatever the case. They have a large scope to consider, whereas Aaron Rodgers or any specific player looks to his own future, his own personal needs. And sometimes,
look
as
at
a
Calvin
team,
Johnson,
as
Bob.
a team, you got to do what you think is best. Listen,
look at Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders.
Wait a minute.
Guys that quit.
What about Bill Belichick? Okay, Tom Brady was there, and guess what? Belichick kept drafting quarterbacks thinking the end was near. And who could blame him? Who knows what the end is for a guy who's in his just like Ben, just like anyone else.
Let me ask you a question.
He's looked as the genius coach, and yet he had to draft quarterbacks and then trade them away because Brady was still there. And that had not to go over well with Brady, too. But what are you going to do? You come back, you play, you're the starter, and you play well.
Let me tell you something right now. If Ben Roethlisberger at 35 years old got the Steelers to the AFC Championship game and had a great year, and then the Steelers drafted a quarterback with the 24th pick, you and I would be ripping the Steelers to shreds for it. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. That they would be doing that when.
But Rodgers should know this. He was drafted when Brett Favre was there. He had to go through the exact same thing.
Totally different situation.
He waited for 3 years.
Completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, and here's the difference. Brett Favre was leading the NFL in interceptions during those years.
He was also Brett Favre.
He had shown.
He's a Hall of Famer.
But he had shown proof that he was slipping.
Okay.
Is Aaron Rodgers slipping, Bob? He's going the other way.
No. By the way, our first caller, Pete, was the number one Cochran Go One Better call of the night. We got to get to some business here. We are Tri-State Office Furniture Tweet of the Day. And this was interesting. If you watch the beginning of the match today in Wyoming, by the way, that place is unbelievable. It's a Jack Nicklaus design course called the Reserve at Moonlight Basin. Tom Brady's golf ball.
Wow.
That's what you have when you're Tom Brady. It's the GOAT. You got all the numbers, the numeric numbers of these championships, all 7 of them. So if you find that ball, you know who it belongs to. We're going to take a break, come back with more. 412-575-2600. We're live right here on Pittsburgh CW.